walk me through your best day at Google and your worst day at Google.
We uncovered a large customer that was interested in Google Cloud and a multi-year deal. Very common to sign, 4+ year deals. So it had been going on for a few months. And when we finally had the CEO signature, that one was it's like a $240 million deal. Worst days? Oof.
Welcome to this episode of Legends Made podcast. My guest is pretty awesome. Spent 14 years at Google, has a new YouTube channel called Drive with Jesh. Make sure you go check that out. It's a really great conversation that we go through AI, growing up in Singapore, traveling all over the country and living in different places. This is a really amazing episode. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Share this episode with a friend because I think they're really going to love it. Let's get into it. Perfect. Jesh, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on.
We put this together pretty quick. It was like last week.
We did.
We did that Cadillac event.
Made it happen.
Yeah, that was a fun event.
That was.
Yeah.
Unveiling the car. Looks super nice. A lot of people there. It's good.
Are you a big F1 fan at all?
I am a fan. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your team?
Mercedes. And our boy Lewis, switched over. That was tough. So my wife's definitely a huge Lewis fan. So we're like, Ferrari, Mercedes, it's tough. But yeah, I think Mercedes. We're a house of Mercedes.
I was going to say, so you have the AMG. Tell me about this guy.
So 2017 AMG GTS, I really wanted the matte gray from the factory. So August Motor Cars out in Kelowna, British Columbia, they work a lot with Daily Driven Exotics, DDE on YouTube. I was just Googling around because I wanted this car, and they had this in this color. And so I flew out there. I was just going to order it and have it shipped, but my wife said, look, if you're going to spend money on a car like that, why not go out, touch it, test drive it? I said, sure, why not? Flew out there for a weekend and test drove it Friday. I was like, yes, take my money. Where do I sign? It sounded great. It was a fun drive. And then I was there like the rest of the weekend. I was like, what do I do? And the people at August Motor Car said, Kelowna is actually known for one of the best wine countries in the world. And so I hopped around at some different wineries. It's beautiful. It's like Sonoma, Napa-ish.
Yeah.
Liked it so much. Well, I did have the car shipped back, and then took my wife back out there for a great trip. But a good place there, August Motor Cars, beautiful place in Kelowna. If you ever get the chance, check out British Columbia. But that's the story of that car. I had the W204 C63 and just wanted something a bit more track focused. So I still have that car, but the W204 is the last that AMG was making, the naturally aspirated V8.
Yeah.
So it's more of that raspy noise. And then my wife has a GLK. So yeah, House of Mercedes.
House of Mercedes. Pretty soon, House of Ferrari, though.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Always have our eye on Porsches. You know Porsche. Nice. Yeah, GT3 wouldn't be bad to have for the track either.
Yeah. I was sitting in the hot tub with my wife the other day, and she's like, just get your GT3 RS already. I was like, It's like, yeah, that was the 1925 tequila speaking. Time for a commercial. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So yeah, be careful with the 1925 tequila. If you give it to your wife, you may come home with a GT3 RS. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Unless you want a GT3 RS, then
it's delicious. Super smooth.
It is fantastic. But you weren't always a car guy though, right?
Not always a car guy. I mean, I've loved cars ever since being a kid. My brothers and my family know that. But maybe it's having an Asian dad, always in the back of their mind, save your money. So high school, college, even throughout years at Google, I just drove, the hand-me-down cars that we had. First car was a 1998 Honda Civic LX, drove that to like 250,000 miles. Then had a Ford Focus, 2004 Ford Focus, had that for many years throughout Google. And finally, I was like, look, you worked hard, you've saved up enough, like treat yourself,
Yeah.
And, that's when I decided to get the C63. I just fell in love with that V8 rumble from AMG's. And then, just kind of kept going from there.
Was that, so you always grew up kind of like, for lack of better words, like penny pitching and like watching your dollars? Was that a hard step to go buy a car like that? Because they're not cheap.
Yeah, they're not cheap. I think it was more about like saving. Parents taught me a lot of good values, saving up. Brothers and I, they give us a couple of dollars every week for, for doing chores and things like that. Just kind of teaching you the the time value of money and saving and learning what it is to save up. And so yeah, I think at a certain point though, when you've got enough saved up, it's okay to treat yourself. And every time you drive the car, it brings a smile on the face. And when you leave the car, always turning around and looking back, that's how you know you got the right car. I'm sure you do that with the Lambo.
Yeah, with that
So
thing, it's I barely see it. I barely notice it.
yeah,
Not, I like the AMG though. It's a sweet car. I've been a Porsche guy for a long time. Obviously, I had the
yeah,
Porsche on the. I literally, I think I had just a 911 Carrera on the wall. And so
nice.
when I got that goal and bought that car, I was like, okay, cool, got it. What's next?
What's next?
Is that kind of what happened?
A little, yeah, a little bit. And I think the C63, it's still a really fun car to drive. It holds a special place in my heart. But when I took it to the track, um, that's when I was like, I want something that's a little more track focused and more made for the track. And
Yeah.
so they definitely have the GTR, amazing car, GTR Pro. I kind of wanted something a little better bang for your buck. And after I did some of the, got some H&R lowering springs, took out the cats on it, did a Eurocharge stage 2. So she's putting about 620 or so down. It's really fun to drive on the track for sure.
Speaking of the track, so you have Drive with Jesh. That's your YouTube channel,
Yes.
Instagram.
Yep.
How did that come about?
Yeah. Well, I had a 14-year stint at Google, and Google served its purpose in my life. Met a lot of good people, and helped a lot of businesses. I was in tech sales there. My
Mhm.
last role was on the AI go to market team, and after the past year or two before I left, I just kind of got corporate burnout, and I was kind of done with the rat race. And I was fortunate enough to have saved up enough and done well with investments. When I started with Google, it was like under $20 a share with all the stock splits, and now
Yeah.
it's pushing over 300. And so I thought, I've had a good run here. Time to do something for myself. Invest in myself, and I wanted to flex more of that creative side of my brain.
Mhm.
Growing up, I was a lot of creative. Did a lot of art and drawing and whatnot. And I was like, I want to create something. And so it wasn't. I took a few months off, decompressed. After 14 years in tech sales and big tech, it's a lot, which we can get more into. But I was at the Nürburgring, so I did a Euro trip with my brother. We hit Majorca, Spain. We did Germany, Swiss Alps, and I'd rented a BMW 3 Series that they had decked out for the track. And I don't know, something clicked when I was on the Nürburgring. It was like a beautiful day, 7 degrees and sunny, and something out there just clicked where I was like, the car scene here in Austin has exploded, as you know, over the years.
Yeah.
Lots of entrepreneurs, businesses have moved out here. And the conversations that I was having with these people like yourself, other people in the car community, I just found really interesting and really inspiring. One gentleman, was a heroin addict. He almost died, alcohol addict. He went to rehab and started to build his companies from rehab, and now has awesome dream cars and multiple businesses. And I just thought, why not start to document some of this? I love storytelling. I love talking to people, understanding their journeys, similar to yourself, of
Yeah.
how they grew up, what are the challenges they faced. And so that we talk a little about their business too. What are some of the business challenges? And then since I love going to the track, I've got a partnership with Harris Hill where we go out there and also capture some really good racetrack action as well. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it all came about.
That's so. There's two questions I'm going to ask you about.
Yeah.
One, we're going to dive into Google. I really want to go down
For
that
sure.
rabbit hole. Two, I want to get to the parents and where you grew up and
Yeah.
that. But I love what you're doing. The challenge, and we were talking the other day about this, is like very similar. 13 years of selling real estate. 14 years before that, I was
Yeah.
working at Costco and like in management at Costco, and then
Yeah.
I came here. Start selling real estate. And like literally last year, I was just like, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
And
Felt
so
it.
that's why this podcast started too, was corporate burnout or real estate burnout.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to the burnout, man. But I mean, you got to a point where you could have the ability to take time away.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's why, yeah, I feel blessed and fortunate, no hard feelings against Google. And I feel like because I worked hard and Google has provided a lot in my life, in my wife, in our lives, and I feel fortunate that I'm able to, you know, explore and do these and flex the creative side and not have to worry and stress about finding a new job right now. So definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm stressed. I mean, look, the finances, you got to think about it. So, um, to start a podcast like you're
Yeah.
doing takes a lot of capital to begin with, right? So, cameras that you're seeing here,
Yeah.
studio, you're
You've
not quite in a studio
you've
yet.
done even more of an investment, I feel like,
Yeah.
but we both feel the yeah.
And then I would imagine, so you're how many episodes into?
I think we're like 9 or 10.
So 10 by the 10th episode, you're making what, 3, 4, $5 million on the
Yeah. Just over that, yeah,
just
per
over that,
episode,
right?
yeah.
That's a
I
joke.
wish.
The reality is it's 0 at the moment,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it's a big risk to be in this space now,
it
leaving
is.
14 years of Google security to be doing what you're doing. So I mean, that's why honestly why I wanted to have you on is because
Appreciate that, yeah.
as somebody who's trying to grow like I grew a big platform with YouTube
Yeah.
for real estate, and this is a whole new thing for me. So
Yeah. I
I'm
can totally relate to that, Jeremy, and it was interesting when I left Google, especially for someone like myself that's been there for 14 years, and there's other people that have been at other big tech companies for longer than that. It kind of becomes like your identity in a way.
mhm,
And I had people that called me after I left Google and they're like, Jesh, I'm not happy either. Like I want to do what you did, but I'm scared, like what do I do next? And so that has been really interesting. I definitely needed to take some time off, like I said, to decompress. But um, for anyone out there that's, considering or thinking, and if you're in the right financial place, it is possible. You can do it. And there's so many options out there. AI as well. We get into that more later, but the
yeah,
possibilities right now of, don't think of AI as a replacement. Think of AI as an accelerator.
right.
There's so many things that you can do with AI to get um, to accelerate the whole entrepreneurial journey for people now, and so many different options and avenues that you can go. But yeah, it's been really cool to have this creative, journey, learning a lot on YouTube. I mean, you've already had a channel that's been pretty successful. So I just love learning a lot, meeting great people like yourself and networking. And really at the end of the day, for me, it's about having fun. I think,
Yeah.
early days of Google, it was really fun. I think there was a bit of more work-life balance, being able to play some ping pong here and there, which they still have all of great stuff. And, different jobs require different amount of, um, grit, but it just towards the end for me, maybe I didn't really have as much work life balance, or maybe I should have been more intentional about
Mhm.
doing more of that. But it just sucked the life out of me. I wasn't happy anymore, and I think, yeah, just being able to see that other people are experiencing that in tech, and it's really that fear of the unknown. Taking that next leap, it's been a big growth opportunity for me to really flex other muscles that I hadn't before.
What was the process for you for making that leap to say I'm done?
It was pretty quick. I had met with my manager and at Google when, and other big tech companies too, when you say that you're leaving, especially if you're going to another competitor, but when you say you're leaving, I mean, they'll cut you off pretty
Yeah.
quick.
What was the thought process though to get you to that point? Like,
I had been unhappy for a while, probably over a year. My wife knows. Checked my finances to make sure that, I would be okay. Um, and yeah, really just kind of after I knew that we were going to be okay financially, and kind of looking at what else could be out there in terms of cars, or there were some thoughts of like YouTube, or just documenting some things, journeys. I just took that leap.
hey, it's a quick moment to tell you if you haven't subscribed already, this is the time to subscribe because guess what? We have a lot of amazing guests just like the one today. So make sure you subscribe.
I think, yeah, after I had confirmed that it would be okay, we'd be okay financially. That I think that was the biggest thing, right? Since I'm a husband, I have a wife, two fur babies, got to take care of them. I couldn't, I didn't want to completely leave if I wasn't going to be in the right place
Yeah.
financially. But once I knew that was okay, it was taking a big leap, and maybe there wasn't every single check mark, that was checked. That's part of it, is being able to take that leap of faith.
How did your wife go through that with you?
She has been so supportive. She was very happy when it happened. That might be
Really?
surprising for a lot of people, yeah, because she knows that she's seen how I've changed, since then. There were some dark days there before leaving, and so she's been extremely supportive through all of this. I wouldn't be able to do all this without her, but yeah, she's super supportive.
How'd you meet your wife?
We both grew up in Best Buy. I was born in Singapore. Can chat more about that, but mainly grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. We were working at Best Buy. I was in the Geek Squad, and she was my manager there.
Oh, hey. All right, Best Buy. We got to check that management employee relationship. So,
We did not let HR know about that one.
so how long goes by with the two of you at Best Buy before you kindle a
We
flame
worked
there?
together for a few years. She had a boyfriend for a while, and
Oh, you're just waiting in the
then
wings.
yes, playing, watching from the sidelines.
Yeah.
And then one day, we were a really close group at Best Buy. We had a lot of fun times back in the day, and the BBY crew, we called it. And
What
yeah,
does that
one
stand
day,
for?
that's kind of the three. It's just the best. Yeah, I guess it's their stock symbol or BBY. But
Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay.
we she approached us. We were all hanging out in a corner of the employees, and she's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing this weekend?" Like, I don't know. Maybe going over to our friend Matt's house. She's like, "Okay, well, we should all hang out." Um, and Matt was like, "I think she's directing more of this tour deal." I was like, "Is Christina trying to hang out?" And yeah, we all hung out at a party. She beat my ass at fight night. And I'm a big gamer, and so that's when I was like, "Oh wow, even cooler." I was like, "This chick's really cool," and we just kind of kept going from there. I moved to Austin soon after that for UT, and
Okay.
then she moved down here to Austin too. She did real estate management, and then we were on and off for a few years. I was kind of an asshole throughout UT, and then I moved to San Francisco with Google. I'm
Mm.
managing their tech customers out there for a year. And that's when I was like, what am I doing? Christine is the one. She's awesome. I moved back here after a year in San Francisco, got engaged and married in 20. That was it. Well, it was right after COVID. We had one of those weddings that was in March of 2020
Yeah.
scheduled. A week before that, the world shut down. So we had to cancel the wedding, but we still wanted to get married. So we eloped. We got some really cool pictures of downtown Austin at all our favorite spots. And it's like, even like right on the center of Congress with the Capitol in the background, just no cars. It's crazy to think back then of like what COVID was like in Austin. And we had the wedding celebration a year later. But yeah, this month will be our 6 year wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was the light that went off that said, yeah, she's the one? Like, what was the math there? Because there's some math, right? Us guys, when we figure out, like, okay, you know what, I gotta get serious. There's some
Yeah.
math involved.
I think I don't know, she always made me feel a certain type of way. And her patience with me, and it just really just came down to just her personality. She's cool. She gets me, and how supportive she was of me then with making the move out to San Francisco, leaving all my family and friends here was big, and that support continues to this day. So
Nice.
you'll have to meet her soon. I know Andy's met her, and yeah, she's awesome. Shout out to you, Christina.
Yeah, it always interests me when people or guys finally make that decision where the light goes off. Like, I joke. When I met my wife, we had been dating for like 3 months, and I kind of like already knew. And we went to this is a fun story for all of you. Bryce, do not clip this. We went to Vegas and with a bunch of friends, and uh, we went to Spearmint Rhino. And Eileen was with us, and she's like, "Hey, which one do you want?" And like bought me a lap dance. And I was just like, I turned to my buddy, and I'm like, "She's the one." It's like, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Really?" I'm like, I mean, I already knew, but like, you know what I'm saying?
They
But
say
like,
when you know, and
yeah,
it's true. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
that's funny.
yeah. I knew, yeah, I knew pretty soon. What? Don't clip that. Do not clip that. She would not be happy I put that out in the public.
That's funny.
But all right. So you grew up in Singapore
Yes. So yeah, taking it back, I was
with an Asian dad who told you to save.
yes.
Yeah. How's that work?
I was born in Singapore. My dad is of Chinese descent. My mom is of Indian descent. There's 4 boys in my family. I'm the second oldest. We're all 2 years apart. I'm 37, about to be 38 next or this month. And so my brothers and I call ourselves Chindians, Chinese and Indians. I
Clip that.
moved.
Shinians.
I moved here when I was 3. So my dad and my mom wanted to live the American dream. We moved to Searcy, Arkansas. My dad was finishing his undergrad there, and those were the early rough days, which we didn't really know as kids, but no income coming in, dad and mom moving to a new country. My dad's doing 24 hours of college work to finish his undergrad while my mom's taking care of 4 boys at home. We're eating, rice and porridge for meals. Um, but we still had a blast. My brothers and I got along, we had fun. From there, we moved to Abilene when my dad got his master's, his MBA, to Nashville for a quick stint, and then back to Singapore for first grade, which was a bit of culture shock because Singapore is big on education, and that's where we learned like they're basically 2+ years ahead of education, and so the math and everything there was really advanced for us, which probably ended up helping us a bit when we came back, but also Mandarin. You had to take a foreign language, and my parents got an exception for us because we'd grown up in America, and so I remember they would come to when they were doing Chinese and Mandarin class, they would have us do some other curriculum, but it just wasn't the best fit for us there. They're like, look, let's go back to the U.S., and that's when we
Why
moved to.
wasn't it fit to stay there?
I think there were my dad was still interested in other job opportunities, and they still wanted to experience more of the American dream here in America. And so we put our roots down in Fort Worth, Texas. That's where I said I met my wife. Mainly grew up there in Fort Worth. Grew up very low, middle class America, but my brothers and I just had a blast growing up. We didn't know the difference, but I think my parents instilled a lot of values in us that made us successful and go getters for today. We all kind of took our different paths, but I think my mom staying at home, and she was always the um, chief people officer at home, taking care of us and cooking and patience for a lot of us. But we really didn't fight too much. We would always have, here or there, but my brothers and I got along. And from there, 3 of us went to UT. One of us went to UT Arlington. One of us,
Do
my
your
older
parents pay for school or do you guys have to pay for school?
my dad paid for school, and a lot of grants helped as well.
Yeah.
With one working parent at the income that he was making. That's definitely one lesson I learned for any college students learning is go to your office there that's in charge of all the grants. There's so much money out there that people are not using and leveraging. That I would go in there sometimes like, hey, I need, XYZ. And they look it up. Okay, let's apply this or that because there would just be millions out there that students aren't using. So it helped out for people like us at that income level at a public university like UT. Um, and at UT, I think the next kind of stepping stone for my life that helped was,
You said you were an asshole at UT.
yeah,
To your
I had,
to Christina, yeah.
yeah, I would break up with her and, have my fun and we get back together. I miss you and this or that. And
Were you in a fraternity or anything like that?
I was in an organization. We were the UT baseball group, Texas Iron Spikes. Great group of guys, good community. They did teach some values, and it wasn't anything that they did or caused, but just young college kid in Austin. Just had some fun, um, and yeah, glad it all worked out in the end. But
Did you grow up playing baseball?
I did not. Every now and then I would play, but not in like a league or anything like that. It was more for some of the guys that I knew that were in that. I really,
Okay.
some of the older guys too, I looked up to them, and it was just a cool group of guys that we didn't have like a house or anything like that.
But
So
did you play baseball?
no, we would help like set up stuff and
Oh,
do
okay.
a lot of tailgating, and yeah, we were kind of like their main support group. Um, but yeah, it was like kind of like a frat without like a house. We did a lot of similar things and activities. Um, but yeah, I was an economics undeclared major, and then I knew I wanted to get into the business school. And it was competitive at that time, even more competitive now. But I hustled. I remember I had to go into, I would ride my bike over to like ACC because I was trying to catch up on all the credits. I started a semester late, so I was at UT from 2007 to 2010, and that's because I was summer school and whatnot. I was taking a lot of extra credits and riding my bike over to ACC to do calculus 3 and things like that. but was able to successfully transfer into McCombs, did the MIS program there, and that I think was a good opportunity. When I look back at college, and sometimes you think, I mean, it's like, was college worth it? Did you really learn a lot? Like, yes, you learned a lot on the job. I think for UT, it really comes down to the connections and the companies that were coming out. Ernst and Young came out, one of the big accounting firms, and I did computer forensics for them. That was my big internship, and good experience. It was in Dallas, and so they made the offer at the end. I was like, yeah, I'll sign full time with Ernst and Young, do computer forensics. I like technology, and I was a little bummed about going back to Dallas, to be honest, because I'd grown up in that area and I just loved Austin. And so
What do you think the difference between Austin and Dallas is?
Austin seemed a little bit more laid back, more my vibe. And at Ernst and Young, it was suit and tie. They would yell at women if they had open-toed shoes, like, if they could see your toes. Everyone was trying to become partner.
Uh,
Nothing against them. Good company, they do good things. It's for some people, that's the path they wanna go down. Just for me, it wasn't exactly the best culture fit. So Google ended up coming to McCombs Business School, I think my junior year. I don't think they do this anymore, but the recruiter came in shirt, cargo shorts, and flip-flops, and, did the interviews there, did well in those. They made me an offer, and I was just when they told me just how they go about things. They're building teams in Austin. I was like, this is more of the culture fit for me. So accepted with them. Had to do what's best for me, even though I already accepted with Ernst and Young. So I had to make that call to Ernst and Young, like, hey, I was freaking out. Oh, is McCombs gonna kick me out of school? Am I gonna get fined or this or that? And the person was very understanding at EY and said, look, because Google was expanding in Austin. That was a
yeah.
big part of it, and there was only like 200 something people at the time in Google Austin. Everyone by first name walking down the halls, high fives. Now there's 3 to 4,000 people in Austin. It's grown a lot. But also the offer was a lot less at Google than it was at EY. And I think that's another lesson I learned is my dad would always tell me, follow what you're passionate about and the money will follow. And, that was true for me where the first year there due to promotions and stock and equity and all that and bonuses was able to make more than what EY had projected that I would make. So I'm glad I ended up doing what was best for me and what I was more passionate about. And from there, just kind of kept working up through sales at Google and everything there.
Wow. So growing up between Singapore, Dallas, Abilene, Nashville for a stint, uh, did you make a lot of friends pretty easily? I mean, or did you just have your three brothers that you
I
got to
would
beat
say I
up on?
did. I've always been a pretty outgoing extrovert. Um, Made a lot of friends, yeah, throughout school. And it's funny talking about meeting friends and being an extrovert, but I think that was when I also started to see that throughout my last years at Google, I was becoming a bit more introverted
Hmm.
because from all of the calls I was having and my last role on the AI go to market team, there was like 400 to 500 people that would be like pinging me every day that I was responsible for in terms of what's the AI strategy this week, how are we
Yeah.
implementing and executing, and strategy last week we're going to pivot and completely go this way, this
Yeah.
week, and that's when I was just like, your personality starting to change, part of you starting to die. That's when it was another kind of realization of like maybe this isn't, maybe it's served its purpose, maybe it's time to go somewhere else. But yeah, was met a lot of people, growing up. That was just one thing that I thought of. Yeah, that was another realization of it was time to change.
Interesting. So tell me about Google. When did you start working there? You were
I
old?
started in early 2011 and then I left last year. Worked across like support and operations, but for the gist of my career, it was in just mainly tech sales. So carrying the bag, had the quota. Um,
How does that work? Tech sales.
in what
Like
aspect? Like
I mean, I don't even know. Are you like calling like companies
generally
or like how does that work?
generally in tech sales, you're gonna start an inside sales team,
Mhm.
an SDR or BDR, business development rep, or a sales development rep. I think those are great roles if you're interested in sales. You'll
How does
learn
that I
how
mean, what are you doing all
you
day?
learn to do outbound calls.
Yeah.
You're prospecting. Prospecting is, okay, here's the business I'm trying to go after. What are their pain points? What's their industry? How can I look at what my solution is of cloud technology and fit this into, their pain points? And how can we come up with a good solution? It's all solution selling. What's the right use case? as that SDR or BDR rep, where you're generally early in your sales career, you generally move into an account executive type role. So I did start as in an SDR, BDR type role. And then as an account executive, you're the more seasoned rep who closes the business. You're managing more of those higher level relationships with
Yeah.
CIOs, CEOs.
How many hours a week are you usually working?
Sales can come in spurts, I would say. There's no I think it all depends on the rep, and, it can be feast or famine in sales. So
Yeah.
if you have been working a deal cycle for a while and a previous quarter, you land that deal at the beginning of the quarter, you can blow out your quarter by that point and you've hit your sales quota. Then generally people aren't sitting on their ass. You're just going to want to hit your accelerator. So you still want to overachieve, but it can come in waves. So, okay, you hit your deal. Okay. Maybe you can relax a little bit. Okay. Now I'm,
Yeah.
I'm low on pipeline. I have a big quota to hit. Okay. I gotta start working a lot.
Yeah. It
So
sounds like you were in real estate.
yeah, exactly. There's some parallels there for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah,
But I think the difference though is like, so when you're getting paid on that, are you always like, how is the pay structure on that actually work?
It can depend on the team. Usually it's like 60-40, 60's base, 40% or flipped 40-60. It might have changed from then. It kind of depends on the team
Yeah.
and what you're selling. But yeah, base and commission on
So,
top
so
of
what's
that plus
base and commission
accelerators.
look like dollar wise if I'm going to go work at Google in sales?
Like what your base
Yeah. What
would
am I
be,
making? Like 50 grand a year?
it
Yeah.
can range a lot. I would say if you are someone like yourself that has years of experience and good relationships higher up, I mean it can pay really well. 200-ish base plus if you're hitting everything with accelerators, you know, at least, half a million. I mean, yeah, you can. And then if you're closing really, really large deals, in the hundreds of millions or people are hitting billions. I didn't close billion-dollar deals, definitely in the hundreds of millions, but I mean, yeah, you can you can make, well, easy $1 million plus, in tech sales when you're working in the large enterprise space.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a lot of work. And you always have that quota in the back of your mind. Um, and yeah,
See, I think the difference is like you're not out like realtors like marketing yourself constantly, right? Like you're Google, people are coming to you. Well, at that point, you're Google, people are coming to you too, right? Or how is it
yeah,
all
it's
outbound?
you gotta you win with the team and you lose with your team, so you're always going to be bringing in your executives from your side
Yeah,
and they're going to want to meet with similar, directors and VPs or C levels on their side for the really large deals. And a lot of relationship management, relationship building, all of your stakeholders. It requires a lot. So I was not a top sales rep at Google. There's some really talented, skilled people out there, and it's putting together a deal. It's an art, it's a puzzle. And yeah, props to people that can, continue to do that day
what
after
like
day.
what? So you're using a lot of acronyms that most people probably don't know. And when I say most people, I'm saying me.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That was a joke. Uh, Bryce, I'm winking at you. Uh, but what does that actually look like?
How you're
Yeah,
selling or
yeah,
um it's all around AI right now. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. A customer may have, years ago, we were trying to get the big tech companies were trying to ensure customers had an AI budget, trying to sell the value of AI. Now we're at the point where most companies do have an AI budget for a year. Okay,
right.
now that you have that AI budget, what are your top pain points? What are the biggest problems in your company that, are redundant or that we can automate that's, repetitive?
Yeah,
Those are probably the easiest things to replace, right? I mean, there's so many use cases in terms of customer experience, AI chatbots. That I think chatbots was a few
who's that
years
typical
ago.
customer though?
Everyone is all types of industries:
Yeah,
real estate, transportation, logistics, tech, finance. There's a use case in every industry and vertical, and that a lot of big tech companies verticalize their own sales teams too, so that
sure.
you can try to be specialized in certain areas. Um, Now, I don't know, an example, it's moving towards agentic AI now. That's a, whatever, a buzzword, it's a common term used.
Just describe agentic AI.
Rather than you going on the internet saying, I'm searching for Lamborghinis.
Mhm.
You can build your own agent that would know all of the details of what type of Lamborghini or supercar that you're looking for. The other end of the companies that are selling would have their own agent, where this would go is your own agent is going to be speaking to that AI agent
Mhm.
to do the sales, or at the very least help. It would help filter out a lot of the things to where at the end of the day you can maybe make the end decision, but you're going to have agents working on your behalf, and agents can be talking to each other, right? So where the agents will do the selling and the buying for you, ultimately.
Interesting.
Um, just one use case there, but I mean, there's the way that even since I left Google and seeing how quickly these models have advanced, it's pretty crazy and pretty wild. You know, tech stocks, software stocks a few weeks ago took a big dive because Anthropic had released their code assist, where you can now just talk to an app or talk to AI and talk about what kind of app you want to build, and within minutes. So I tested it out. I said, I want to build a health and fitness app where I can take pictures of my food, tell me the macros, protein, fats, carbs, and put together a fitness program daily for me, a schedule, and also put together a ritual or devotional in the morning, that can be motivational for me. Within 5 minutes, that app was created, and you can kind of fine tune it from there. That was using Replit, for example. So what was just done in 5 minutes would have taken months and months and teams of people to do, right? And those models will only continue to get fine tuned and get better from there.
So how
So
does that not replace people?
it will replace some jobs. There's no way getting around the fact that AI won't replace some jobs. But I think the opportunities that it creates, you could be, I don't have my phone on me. We could do a quick example where I could say, like, I'm an 18-year-old kid who's interested in college,
Let's
but
do
I
it.
live. We should do a
Let's do
little
it.
demo.
Where's your phone at?
An AI app. I'm going to talk to it and just, as an example, say I'm like a young kid that's interested.
Okay.
I'm an 18-year-old kid living in Austin, Texas. I'm interested in AI. I don't know a ton about it, but I'm really interested in an entrepreneur journey and what I can do to make money. What are some options or the best routes that I could go based on everything I just told you? AI chatbot management for local SMBs, AI content repurposing agency. You can leverage the Austin ecosystem with the Capital Factory, Austin AI Alliance. And the next step from this would be using an app like Replit, where I could do the same kind of thing and say, maybe this high level information that I use from Gemini, I could then take and say, okay, now I'm going to fine tune this and say, oh, that's an app that I want to create for real estate, for example. Open up Replit. I mean, you could continue to use these apps as well. And then just talking to that, I want to build an app that would do X, Y, and Z for this. And within minutes, it would build that app. We can do a demo later for you to show it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
I have so I invested in Naya, which is an agentic
Yeah,
AI.
Anwar's.
And
That
we're
was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, so we got an all hands on deck call later today. So but that was something I found pretty interesting because of what we're trying to accomplish with that.
Yeah.
We're focused on the real estate side right now, but the application of this really is every industry could be using
Yeah.
what the program that he's put together. So
Agreed.
pretty. Now for
A
this
lot.
commercial of Naya. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
He's doing really cool stuff. That's a really unique app. I was blown away. I was like, all the information it knew about me, and the background is pulling from so many cool data sources. But yeah, I think just taking a step back from AI, it's like, yes, while all of this it's moving really fast, it's super powerful. And yeah, you you get burnt out a bit in tech in general, hearing AI every day. When you're on an AI specific team within big tech, it's like 10x, So I
Yeah.
think that's didn't help me in the situation.
Were you dreaming about
Oh,
AI?
I mean, yeah,
You
waking up,
hallucinating
yeah,
about AI?
AI hallucinations, IRL in the app, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Um, I think where I was going with that is I think that there is kind of this, I don't know what call it, a shift, but as part of that, when that happened with um, I think it was Harvard Business Review released a paper basically saying that, while 2023 may have been the year that companies were testing AI, okay, now they have proof of concepts, their actual use cases. They're testing it in maybe 24 or 2025. This year, okay, there's some benefits, but um, maybe not as big of an impact as they thought it would have been without human intervention. Basically, what I'm saying is there is still, maybe you can get you 80% there, and I still use it every day. It's great to get you that the head start on like the outline or
Mm-hmm.
skeleton of what you want to do, and can provide a lot of good details around that. But I think there will still require some human intervention as these models are getting fine tuned. But it feels like the market is also kind of getting a bit, um, people in general population. I don't know. I mean, yes, some people are scared of it, but you don't want everything AI, and that's where I feel like things like you and I are doing with these, is that people are going to want that human connection still in certain things that they're doing,
Yeah.
right? Like, you don't want to go on YouTube and just watch a whole, like, we could literally have done this. It could be AI generated people and cars in the background doing all of this, right? But
Yeah.
it loses the whole human feel of doing that. So I think it's almost like a pendulum, and I would see this at Google a lot of, we're going to push all this. Okay, the market doesn't really want this. We're going to go back. Okay, now we're going to push back, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't have a crystal ball or knows how it will, but I do think for a long time that, yeah, there will be certain areas that people are still going to want some human connection, where it's not all just AI, whether it's in video games, cinema, Hollywood. If you just watch a whole AI created film, I mean, yeah, it's super quick. It's got some cool graphics, but it's like, okay, there was no human
Yeah.
doing that.
I see some fatigue with a lot of people. I mean, like, so I can understand where you are in business doing AI, constantly selling AI, right? And you have a lot of people who are just like scared of AI, a lot of people that are using it, and a lot of people are just done with all of the AI nonsense. Like, little do people know that's a Toyota Camry right there. It's not even a Lamborghini.
It's a
So
really nice wrap on it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really nice wrapped Toyota. It's actually, that's Bryce's car, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting where it'll all be. And I mean, the jobs, your son's 13. Who
13.
who
Yeah.
knows? 5 years, it's going to look really different. 10
Yeah.
years, I mean, who knows?
Yeah. And we just had to have a hard conversation with him. He did his first karting race. We had to have a real tough conversation with him because I showed him the interview we did with Ellis
Yeah,
Spezia, not
that was
Espezia,
interesting.
Spezia. And I was like, okay, dude, like, you say you want to be a race car driver, but here's what you're going to have to do. Like, this is what they're doing. You're going to have to find sponsors. Like, you have to go. I was like,
It's not easy.
can you tell your story? Because sponsors and the media and everybody, people want to hear your story. How do you tell your story?
Yeah.
How do you tell people you're excited about what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I think that's too, it's with AI can do almost all the stuff for you, but it can't tell the story for you.
Yeah.
Walk me through your best day at Google and your worst day at Google.
Best day at Google. I mean, probably closing a large deal. I was working with, the role before AI was our partner development team. So I was helping our strategic partners like CDW and SHI,
Yeah.
these massive companies, build out their Google Cloud sales practices. So helping them hire migration teams, support teams, salespeople, so that Google scaling through them to build these out. And so working with them and their existing customers, we uncovered a large customer that was interested in Google Cloud and a multi-year deal. Very common to sign, 4+ year deals. So it had been going on for a few months, and when we finally had the CEO signature, that one was like $240 million deal. It was a good feather in the cap. After
Nice.
months and months of meeting with different teams, different levels, bringing in executives from Google, and from the partner plus the customer, many different teams involved, but everyone knows their lanes and responsibilities. It was a good feeling. So that was,
How'd you
yeah,
celebrate that one?
they got a nice steak dinner,
Yeah.
some nice wine.
Yeah. Your dad told you to save all the rest of the pennies.
That's right.
So you saved all the pennies then, that way you could quit a couple years
That's
later, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that feels nice. Yeah. And, anytime you close a good deal, it feels good, and celebrating with your team. It's definitely a team effort. Worst days? Oof. I mean, it started, it started on the AI team, I would say. But yeah, just kind of, I don't know. All the fun had been sucked out. I was just feeling really burnt out. I wasn't focusing on, I'm big on fitness and health, and my wife knew, if I wasn't going to the gym for a few weeks at a time, it's like something's not right. You're not being yourself. Was becoming more of a recluse. Um, it happened over a while. I say it wasn't not one single day, but yeah, that's when I knew wasn't focusing on myself and it was time for a change.
How'd you realize you were in burnout?
That was a part of it. Is no, like I wasn't focusing on my health, wasn't sleeping well, going to bed late, working late, getting up super early, thinking about work, stress, anxiety, and
Kind of sounds like you were a realtor.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, just my personality had changed, and yeah, I was like, I had a good run.
How do you have that
Yeah.
conversation with your wife where you're like, hey, I think this is it? How did you
It
have that
didn't come
conversation?
as, I think, a huge surprise because she could see for a while. But yeah, I when I called her and told her,
So you
um,
called her and told her you're done. Were you at Google from the Google phone, like
yeah,
the Huli phone?
yeah, I was, um, and
Is
because
that why you have Apple?
I switched over. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny that I was on Google for the longest time. Like the little things like touching tips now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can be the cool guy now. I can be
Yeah.
part of the cool club, and I'm not the person in the group chat that's the green bubble.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's funny. I switched over from all that stuff. Um, yeah, I think she just she knew that it was time to, so it wasn't a huge surprise. And yeah, she was fully supportive. I think she was almost more bummed. My wife still works at Google.
Oh,
And yeah, so
yeah.
I still get the Google benefits.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm happy for her that she's in a good role that she enjoys, and
So wait a second. You guys both worked together at Best Buy.
yeah,
You moved to Austin. She follows you to Austin. Well, did she really follow you to Austin? She followed you to Austin. Don't lie.
I don't know.
You were a jerk to her for a few years,
Yeah,
right? And then you go off to Dallas, but then you're off to see. I'm good at memory stuff. To San Francisco to work with
yeah,
Google. Okay, so you're living the San Francisco life, which actually I want to ask you about that.
tech bro.
Tech bro, and then she ends up working at Google too.
Yeah, I referred her in.
Did you work for her at Google too?
I did not. That
Okay.
one probably would have been more of an HR case. um, but yeah, it's I do miss having lunches and breakfast with her, and she missed that. She misses that too. Um, yeah, but outside of that, and missing like the times that we would hang out at work, and being able to, we can still relate. When she needs to vent about work, I can understand, part of where she's coming from. We miss the time hanging out together physically, but she knows that, mentally and in the bigger picture, it's better for me where we're at.
Mm,
So it's better. It's been better for our relationship for sure.
okay. So what's the best thing about working at Google and the worst thing working at Google?
I think financially they pay well. They give you great opportunities. You can get massages at work. I miss those. The food is great. They
Do you
provide.
get massages from your HR team or how does that work?
Yes, only the HR. Yeah. They and every year when it's your birthday, they give you free massage credits. Um, the perks are nice. I think financially the 401k is one of the best. It's like 100% matching up to a high dollar amount. So, having when I quit in my 30s, I already had $1 million in my 401k, and that wouldn't have happened. I'm just blessed and fortunate that I started Google so early and
Yeah.
had the Asian dad in the back of my mind. Max out your 401k,
Yeah.
max it out, max out your money. And so yeah, there would
How
be
was that again?
save your money, invest. A lot of investing for sure, and there would be some when I was early in my career and my paychecks weren't huge. I would put all of my money into my 401k at the beginning of the year, so I wouldn't have income. But then I can see the return of that now, of the
Yeah.
benefits of that, where that money has grown. Yeah.
Wow.
Um. So yeah, good financial perks. I mean, you're working with super smart people at Google, all of the big tech companies, and they're doing amazing things. Um, but yeah, for me, I'm a big foodie. Definitely, people know like the food. I would put away some plates.
What were they serving?
Name something. They had it. I mean, steak, lamb chops. If you were pescatarian, all kinds of salmon,
So were you
fish,
working at Google
veggies.
downtown here when you were in Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They just opened their new sailboat building by the lake. Your real estate, you know that
Yeah.
big building. So that one's really cool. They've got big patios on a lot of the floors. It finally feels like Google is a big brother. Like um, when you would go to New York or other big offices, California, really you feel the presence when you walk into those buildings. Um, and there were some really nice buildings before this big one, but now that it's in the big sailboat building, you're like, damn. I ate there with my wife a few times already. It's like they did a good job. A
They
lot of
still let you come in
investment.
and get free food?
They do.
Nice.
I hide around every now.
Yeah.
I always shake hands with people that are there. Yeah, no hard feelings. It's been good.
All right. So what's the worst thing about working at Google?
Worst thing about working at Google. I mean, from the conversations I've had with my friends lately, like, yes, I think corporate burnout is real. Um, there's so much that is thrown at you, as they say in tech. You're drinking from the fire hose. Um, it can be a lot. I don't know how to really. I mean, I guess that one example of how many stakeholders I had on the AI team with so many different sales teams and directors that I'm responsible for and pushing this strategy. It can be just mind numbing, at how much you are responsible and how much
Yeah.
you have on your plate. Um, by supporting these people, okay, and I've got this customer or this partner is having an issue that I need to triage and troubleshoot, but you're also responsible for this quota and you need to be meeting with these executives. Um, and that's just mainly in sales, but every role has a lot that's going on. And I think with the AI investments lately and the layoffs that have had, everyone's just required to do more with less.
Mm.
Yep, you're stretched very thin. So I know, yeah. I'm not saying everyone's unhappy at Google, but definitely it's a different era than it was.
Do you think that's just around like everywhere? Because I mean,
I think it is all
yeah,
around tech. Yeah, I don't think it's unique to Google by any means.
yeah, I can tell you the real estate industry. I kind of stepped away, and I wouldn't say stepped away, but I pulled back from the amount of sales I was doing, and I had a lot of people managing a lot of stuff for me, and I've, for lack of better words, checked out mentally. Um, a lot of the people I talk to and work with, my people I work with, because I have 6,000 agents that I've been part of bringing to the brokerage. Everybody's stressed out, man.
Yeah,
Real estate's a
yeah,
stressful place because AI is taking over, right? If you're not using AI, you're gonna lose your business. Nobody wants to work with a realtor. I want to save the 3%, and then you get yourself in.
right.
It's funny. I had a client who's like, "Yeah, I'm going through a divorce, and my wife tried to use ChatGPT to beat her lawyer. I won."
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So it's the same thing in real estate too. I mean, you're going to lose the personal touch, but at the same time, like you could lose a lot more than a personal touch because it's like buying or selling homes emotional. You kind of need somebody to be the cooler.
Right, right.
And so, but it's still tough. Finding clients is tough.
Yeah.
The real estate market's not as I mean, honestly, it was really, really tough in 2020, 2021. It was not easy. So it's like, I think that was too, like why I had gone through such a burnout is I was running a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I mean, running a big YouTube channel like that and constantly having to create, uh, teams, family, clients, attracting agents to the brokers, there's a hell of a lot so like, how are you
Wow.
dealing with the stress with all of those? 'Cause I didn't deal with it very well. How are you doing with the stress from being pulled in so many directions?
I think towards the end of my corporate career, yeah, I didn't deal with it very well because I was so invested into the work and trying to, fix the day to day or, you know, hit the number, um, that I wasn't focusing on myself. And that's when things started to crumble. Yeah. So you got to be intentional about, having your morning routine, making sure you're getting the basics, right? Food and sleep. And um, without those things, the fundamental pieces, everything else, can kind of crumble from there.
Do you think you could have done some things different that would have helped?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. If I had been more intentional on focusing on myself, maybe uh, raising my hand or asking for more help, or maybe looking for a different type of role. But also at the end of the day, I mean, I've gone through that scenario. I don't think it would have changed a lot if I would have like changed teams or something. I think after 14 years at Google and everything that I'd experienced and what it had done and provided for me, I think it served its purpose. And um, it's been amazing being able to create this next chapter. So
So let's talk about the next chapter. We talked a little bit about what you're doing with the podcast. Like, what's your end goal with it?
um
Drive with Jess.
yeah,
Jesh.
drive with Jesh.
Not JESS. JESH. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think it'd be cool to grow the channel, have a following, get some really unique, big guests on the channel. Excited for some of the folks we've got coming up next, with Jeff Mosing and some other people. It's been really fun exploring the local Austin business
Yeah.
community,
There's a lot.
networking with a lot of leaders in the community, and just other CEOs and founders. But lately, I've also been, from my conversations that I have with them and some of the problems or pain points, as a sales guy would say, um, I've been thinking through, and also being a UT alumni, I've been thinking through potentially looking at some kind of session, or a connection engagement where, is there something between helping UT students maybe get some experience working with some small businesses, my experience with AI, maybe building some kind of AI apps or something, so that everyone can provide value and get
Hmm.
something out of it. um yeah, potentially looking at but something like that. But ultimately, I think just continuing to have fun, yeah, meet good people, and experience some really cool cars, and just learning more about people's journey, sharing the business challenges so that people can learn from
Well, when you figure out how to make money in it, let me know because Bryce needs to get paid. So,
that. It's tough. It is tough. Yeah, I think you and I experience a lot of the same things, but you've had some success in the past channels, which is awesome.
yeah.
And you've got all the potential here. This is a badass setup you've got here.
Yeah. I fly to Ohio tomorrow to
Dang,
talk to realtors about
really,
converting, so using YouTube to actually convert
I
business.
like that.
Yeah.
Thought leadership. Look at that.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. I was doing that for 3 years, flying around the country on my own dime. So
Dang.
I got paid quite a bit, but like
Yeah.
I was, yeah, a lot of times because I was helping grow a brokerage.
Yeah. And are you
So
still doing? So you're still, when you're doing that, you're still doing real estate. You're still active in
yeah.
that. Okay.
Hmm.
Because you had a lot of success doing that too, right? Like how?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of? What was? I don't want to flip this too much if you don't want to
Sure.
change it, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious. What was your journey from real estate to this? Like, what was kind of the trigger, if you will, of like, hey,
Yeah, well, with the YouTube channel, we're sitting around 19,000 subscribers right now, and for real estate, you don't need like to get business out of it. You just need to be honest and tell people the truth.
yeah,
And I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of realtors are always told to sell, 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 sell. So I built a whole platform on telling people the truth. Now, the problem with that too is that if you tell people don't buy in this neighborhood and they go to buy in that neighborhood, they may not call you because they're like, oh, well, Jamie doesn't want to work in that neighborhood.
mm,
And I had several times where people would call me after they bought a house in a neighborhood I said don't buy a home in, and they didn't use me because they were afraid that I would tell them I'd talk them out of it.
right,
And I would literally have people call me and be like, hey, I bought a house over here. I need to sell it now. I don't know if you want to sell it for me or not, but I don't think I can get out of this neighborhood. Like I'm in trouble. And all the things you said and were honest about are the reasons why I can't get out of this neighborhood now.
well,
So, um,
what are some of the biggest lessons you learned from real estate that you still use today?
there's a fine line, especially in real estate, there's a fine line of, um, getting in your client's way, and doing it just for the money. And what I mean is there's some times where it's like there's some people and they get sussed out pretty quick that they're only in it for the money. They're not giving you the real things. And then there's some people who go so far the other direction where they try to purposely talk clients, which for good reason, out of a deal. And then it causes a rift in that relationship with the client. Cause there'd be a lot of times I get to the end of a contract and we'd be closing and neither of us were like super happy at the end. But it was me trying to like warn them, like, hey, don't do this, don't do this. Or, I just had to let an agent go off my team that was just focused on the sale part and not like really I mean, she was very thorough, but it just wasn't the right fit for the team. So,
Got it.
growing a team in real estate is so tough. The margins are so little. That's why when I hear like these discount brokerages come out, I'm like, good luck, you're gonna fail. And
Jeez.
the reason why I know they're gonna fail is what people don't realize is like, let's say when people say I want to make $100,000 a year in real estate,
Yeah.
whatever brokerage you're gonna use is gonna take 30%. So you made 70 grand. Okay. Um, then it costs you have business expenses. Those business expenses, depending on how crazy you go, could be, 30%. So now that 100 grand turned into 50 grand really quick, but then you got to pay taxes too. And then you got to pay your mortgage and you got to pay everything. And you're left at the end of the year. So my second year in real estate, we had this massive year. We were doing so well. We sold like 75 homes. I was growing a team. And in a year, my wife was like, hey, you realize we didn't make any money this year, right? I'm like, what? We made all this money. She's like, no, no, no. We didn't net any money.
Wow.
We're broke.
After selling 75 homes.
Yeah.
That's
And it was because
crazy.
I was buying this and buying that. And, AI is definitely probably helping with some of that now, but I thought I needed this. I was discounting my commission there, discounting my commission there. And the next thing you know, I was like not making any money.
Wow.
And a lot. So those are some of the, and then this is what I try to teach agents now. Like, hey, stop spending all the money on all of these things that are going to get you clients. Cause my phone is probably going off right now. I bet you I can open a text right now telling me to, well, that one's voting for somebody.
Having
Okay.
so many voting
But
texts.
yeah, but I get a text, probably 10 to 15 texts a day about somebody with seller leads or buyer leads or whatever. And so people think, oh, I got to buy that. So that's $200 a month. And then that's $200 a month. And this is $200 a month. Oh, I need this program.
Mm.
So, I mean, StreamYard, prime example. StreamYard messaged me that my payment didn't go through for $3,200. I'm like, StreamYard, you're trying to charge me $3,200? Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Dang.
yeah.
Do you think do you use AI today with in real estate
Oh
or
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Even with everything I do now, like all the content stuff, there's tons of AI we use for it.
nice.
Um, I mean, there's whole Instagram channels now that are using HeyGen and they're not even talking. It's
Right. The
somebody else
faceless
there.
stuff. Yeah.
We tried that with Bryce, but Bryce doesn't look like me. So, uh, we got close. No, we tried it, but like, it's still like, it's not like I can tell when people are using HeyGen.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's people that have massive Instagram and YouTube channels, and then I always ask them like, are you getting business? Oh yeah, we're getting business. Okay. Show me the numbers.
Hmm.
They're not getting numbers.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of bullshit in the real estate. And it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I did that for 14 years. So it's,
Yeah. Yeah. You were grinding. Wow.
yeah.
Nice. What else?
Welcome to Drive with Jesh.
Yeah. 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 We got to figure out when
Yeah.
to take out the Lambo.
Yeah.
Some awesome footage because that is a beast, man. It sounds so good.
Yeah. We'll have to have a rev off here in a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, what advice? So, what advice would you give young person right now getting into the like? Let's say they're in college, right, and they're getting ready to exit college. Or actually, let's take a step back. Let's talk to a senior in high school about ready to sign a deal to go to a college or the next steps in their life. What would you be your advice to them right now?
Can't hurt to go to college, so keep that going. I think get some work experience to help you understand what you like, what you don't like. All those little jobs that I had, ice cream shops to Circuit City to Best Buy, all those little stepping stones help, land the bigger jobs, ultimately big tech and Google. Um, and definitely play around with AI. Especially if you're a senior in high school, you're not going to escape AI. It's going to be in everything that you do in some capacity. So, yeah, whether it's, just productivity day to day, but also ask it some questions on, other ways that it can help you, monetize or make some money, and then just keep playing around with it. You got to be familiar with it, because those who are not familiar and are not using it will be left behind, compared to the others that do.
So what AI do you recommend they use?
There's a lot of good ones out there. There's this whole, R models versus Chinese models and DeepSeek. Chinese models are really good too. Primarily, I use Gemini. I used Anthropic a lot too before that. But OpenAI, Grok, those are the other big ones. I think they're all pretty solid. Just once I have all my data and information and it knows all that about me, you just kind of keep using it. So
Nice.
there has been a big recent drop off of, well, I don't know. People are leaving OpenAI because of all of the Department of Defense is pissed at Anthropic because Anthropic did not bend and change a lot of its policies, so that the government could use AI in the ways that it wanted. So OpenAI came in right after and said, you know what, we'll do all that, whatever you want. They signed a huge deal with the government Department of Defense. So now there's been a lot of people. You can Google, people leaving OpenAI, and there's been a lot of people leaving that because they're not happy with their morals. So I think that's a whole nother conversation. And I'm not an expert in all that, but the morals of AI and thinking about that, because it can be used for so many different things too, things that could potentially harm humans.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah. Part 2, Terminator. Yeah. Well, make sure you go subscribe over to Drive with Jesh. Go find him on Instagram. I appreciate you coming in today. Also, if you haven't already subscribed on here, make sure you subscribe, because it's a good time now that you made it to the end to subscribe. And make sure you share with a friend. And, maybe I should start a Discord. I want to hear in the Discord, because none of you comment. So maybe we should start a Discord. I don't know.
Discord.
Josh. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Getting back to my gamer days.
Yeah.
Discord.
There we go.
It's big.
We'll see you in the next one.